Get in, girls, because this year we are taking our glow up and healing very seriously. Hey friends, welcome back to Doing Well with Alicia. I am of course Alicia, and this is where we talk about rest, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. So in my last video, I got really vulnerable and personable with y'all. Like, I let you all in my business, and it's okay because we're friends now, right? But I shared a lot about my journey over the past 2 years and how everything I thought I wanted in my life got burned down. So as a little recap, if you didn't watch the last episode or listen to the last episode, I shared how I am currently going through a divorce. I sold our home. I am now my mom's caregiver. Me and my daughter moved in with my mom so that I could be like her caregiver. So a lot has happened, but I also mentioned in that video that despite all the craziness and chaotic mess that has happened in my life over the past few years, I am finally in a place where I'm happy and I feel more like myself. And so now that I am on the other side of it, I have been in deep thought and deep reflection about how I am going to build this next phase of my life. So I've been thinking about a lot. I've been thinking about how I want to grow my business and what direction I want to grow my business in. I'm thinking about how I can be the best support system for my mom. I'm thinking about where I want me and my daughter to eventually settle down. I'm thinking about how I can bring more creativity and hobbies into my life. I've been talking about dating and if I want to date and if I do decide to start dating, how does that look now that I am a single mom? So going through all of these life changes has brought up a lot of questions that honestly I still don't know the answers to. But it also brought up a lot of mess within myself that I want to actively repair before I get too deep into this next stage of my life. So through therapy, one of my big realizations is that I have an anxious attachment style. So there are, I believe, 4 different attachment styles, and all of us fall within at least one of those attachment styles. I plan to do another episode just specifically around that because I have been doing a lot of research on attachment styles, and it has just brought up, it's just made everything make so much sense. But yeah, so I realized that I have an anxious attachment style, and I've pretty much always had it my entire life. But going through separation and divorcing really triggered that. And what I realized is that I have been letting anxiety and a disrupted nervous system to really run my life. I have allowed anxiety to make decisions for me. I have allowed anxiety to make me sit in spaces where I am no longer valued or no longer wanted. And anxiety has also ruled over how I react in a lot of different situations, both in my life and in my business. Basically, I realized how much anxiety has clouded my judgment. And in this season of my life, I don't need cloudiness. I don't need a mess. I don't need confusion. What I need is clarity. And it's crazy that I came to this realization right at the top of the new year, which I don't believe is a coincidence. So at the very beginning of the new year, I want to say I probably thought about this right on December 31st, right at the close of the year. I had this idea to dedicate 100 days to myself, 100 days of just personal growth and really focusing on movement, prayer, and journaling, just because I know that there are things within me that I needed to get over. And it seemed like a really good challenge for myself. I wanted to start this year off strong, and I want to develop my discipline muscle. And at first, there was no end goal for like this 100-day challenge. I really just wanted to like push myself beyond my comfort zone and create better habits leading into the new year. But one thing about God, he is going to reveal his plan, because just after like a few days of just moving and being like intentional about praying and like really taking time to like journal through my thoughts, he made it very clear what I should be focusing on during this 100-day challenge. So by the end of this challenge, I want to come out of this feeling content with being alone, content with being single. I realized that divorce left a big hole in my heart, which, I mean, it's obvious. I was with someone for a very long time, and then not having that person there has changed a lot. But I want to get to a space where I am content being by myself. And if I do decide to date, if someone does come along, then they are an extra added incentive. I am not dating to look to like fill that hole, you know? I want to come out of this 100 days feeling worthy. I want to come out of it feeling happy. I want to come out of it, again, like I said, content, but I want to feel whole. I just feel like my life has gone through such a big transformation over the past couple of years, and I am in a season now where I want to become the woman that I want to be, the woman that God wants me to be. And in order to do that, I need to pour into myself and love on myself like I have never have before. And if you are interested in, you know, following along on like my 100-day journey, I will be writing more about that over on my Substack. You can find it at Doing Life Well. If you like type it into the Substack search. But I know so many of us have goals for this year, really big goals. But this conversation that I want to have today is not about goals. It is about how we can become our best selves, not just this year, but like this year and beyond. So if you're ready to stop setting like basic goals that you're probably not going to be encouraged to achieve, or like you really don't care about, and you actually want to see a real transformation take place this year and of course beyond, I want to share with you what has been working for me so far and just what I have been learning in like this 100-day journey. Again, I am not a pro. I am sharing what has helped me so far. So I hope that you can take some tips, you can take some advice, or just learn from my experience. And remember that we are all in this together. In this season, I am learning that self-awareness literally saves lives. I know we all think that we are flawless, we are perfect, there's nothing wrong with us. But this year, I need for us to have some self-awareness. This was a big kick in the behind for me, so you got to go through it too. I want us to get clear on what is it about ourselves that we are not happy with? What is it about ourselves that maybe we want to change, that we don't like? And what do you actually need to work on within yourself? Not what Instagram says that you need to work on, not what your family or your boo or your friends say that you need to work on. What is it within yourself that actually needs your attention? So for me, I'm going to be real with you. I talked about it, just a few minutes ago. I am in a space where I am really realizing how much of an anxious attachment I have, not only with people, but I've been letting anxiety really shape how I move and make decisions and where I stay. And I no longer want anxiety to be in the driver's seat of my life. So I am actively making a change. I'm working through therapy. I'm journaling a lot. I'm recognizing the things that trigger me because I don't want anxiety to continue to run my life. That is something that is within me that I do not like. I don't like when I'm letting my nervous system make the decisions for me. So I am making an effort to change those patterns and those habits. And listen, trust me, I know that I can talk about it now with like a smile on my face, but this is the part that is hard. This is the part that is uncomfortable. It does not feel good to sit with yourself and point out the things that you know that you need to work on. But it is so necessary because think of it as like your foundation. We have to be able to build a solid foundation before you can become the woman you want to be, the mom you want to be, the entrepreneur you want to be. We have to really get clear on what it is within ourselves that needs work, so that again, we are not repeating those same patterns or habits. Now, once you get clear on what is currently needing your attention and what you want to work on, here is where it gets good, because now we get to decide the type of woman or person that we want to be. Who is the version of you on the other side of this glow up? How does she operate daily? How does she react to certain situations? What boundaries has she set in her life? What boundaries has she set within herself, her relationships, her family, her friends, her work? And I want you to start thinking about how you can become that woman now and start implementing some of those things now instead of waiting for later. So for example, I know that the woman I ultimately want to be, she is someone who is clear, she is grounded, she is stable, she is confident. So instead of saying that's the woman I want to be, one day and giving it this like arbitrary date, I am doing what I can to become that woman now. I am actively going, through therapy, working through some of my own crap. I am prioritizing movement. I am prioritizing meditating and journaling and prayer and connecting with God in all of these different ways, because the woman I want to be is clear. That's how she starts her days. That's how she is moving throughout this world. And because the person I want to be is so clear and grounded and knows what she wants, I'm not taking no shit from nobody. So stop waiting until you feel ready. Literally write down on a piece of paper, in your notebook, your app, your notes app, wherever. Write down who is the version of yourself that you want to be. When you get to the end of like this glow up journey, how is this woman operating? How is this person operating? How are you moving through crowds? How are you showing up online? How are you showing up in your relationships and in your business? Go ahead and write that down and start thinking about the steps that you can take today, not when you're ready, today, to start becoming her. Because here's the thing, you don't become her by starting when you're ready. You become her by actively practicing who she is right now. Even when it feels awkward, even when it feels unfamiliar, even when you feel like maybe you're a fraud, you are actively practicing and putting in work. That is our keyword for 2026 and beyond. We are putting in work. And instead of waiting until you're ready, instead of waiting for someone to give you permission, instead of waiting for someone to, give you the okay on your dreams, or, to give you confirmation that you're on the right track, you are going to start practicing on being that woman that you want to be today. And I know what you may be thinking, because this has been something that I have had to process on my own as well. And it's like, where do I even start? I have been stuck in this identity for so long. I am comfortable here. I know what's going to happen next as the person that I currently am. How do I start? What do I do when I mess up? How do I backtrack? How do I pivot? How do I change? And that is exactly why I believe it's so important for you to just give yourself permission to start now and to be messy. And not messy like you're starting drama. No, we're not doing that this year. I'm saying that your glow up does not have to look perfect from day one. Your glow up will probably never look perfect, because nothing is perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out before you begin. I know if you're like me, you're type A and you want a plan, but sometimes you just got to go for it without the plan. And you really need to start now instead of trying to wait for everything to be right, because that is honestly just an excuse that we all make. There will never be a right time, a right moment, a right season. So I started out this 100-day journey or challenge without there being an end goal. I just knew that I wanted to dedicate 100 days to movement, journaling, and prayer. And just a few days into the challenge, I have it figured out. I have an end goal, and I'm not even halfway through the challenge yet. And I know that there's going to be more things that are going to be revealed to me as I go on. But that didn't stop me from starting. Not knowing what the end goal was not going to stop me from pouring into myself immediately. So if you are waiting for like the perfect moment or the perfect plan, even if you're looking for permission, consider this your permission to start now. Start while it's messy. Start while it's imperfect. Even if you don't know what the end goal is, even if you don't know what step 2, 3, 4, or 5 is, you know what the first step is. Take it. Clarity comes with action. We move, the more we take action, the more the signs are revealed to us, the more the goals are given to us, the more the end goal is shown to us. But we can't get to that point if we are sitting here stagnant. Now, as you are doing this work, and trust me, it is work. I don't ever want to, no shade. I don't want you to think that glowing up is just the outward physical appearance that a lot of people promote. Glowing up can be, maybe you want your hair a certain way. I literally chopped all of my hair off right before the new year started and dyed it. So like maybe there are some like outward things that you want to do, but a lot of like glowing up and becoming this better version or this new version of yourself, it is not pretty, and it is actually a lot of hard work, which means you're going to need some support, which is why having some sort of like built-in accountability is going to be really important for you in this season. So decide how you can begin to hold yourself accountable. Is that maybe sharing with a friend what some of your goals are? Is that journaling through your feelings and your thoughts and your progress every single day so that you can kind of look back in a few weeks and see how far you've come? Or maybe you're going to create some type of like built-in accountability system for yourself. So the thing is, you just need some way of making sure that you are staying on track. So of course, there are going to be days where you may fall off. Of course, there are going to be days where you're just not feeling it. But having some sort of built-in accountability is going to make sure that when you do have those rough days or those days that you don't feel like getting up, that you're not letting that deter you from your goal, that you're not letting that stop you from allowing yourself to be who you want to be. Like, yes, we all have bad days, but you know what? The next day, we get up and go. And what we're looking for here is actual accountability, not judgment. So especially if you're sharing this goal or you're sharing how you're feeling or working through this season with someone else, you want to be able to share that with someone who is going to encourage you. You don't want to share your goals with someone who is going to judge you or make you feel bad when you skip a day or when you mess up or when you break your no contact rule with that man. Like, you want to have someone who is going to hold you accountable, but who is not going to be judgy for it. You want to have someone who is going to say, yeah, I know you messed up, you missed the day, you forgot to do this, you didn't do this, but what can I do to help you to get you back on track? What can we do together to help you to get back to where you need to be? So there's always going to be these pitfalls. There's always going to be these moments where you're unable to show up like you want to. But having that support system is really going to help you to make sure that you are staying on track and that you're not falling off. We cannot do this life alone. We cannot glow up alone. We cannot build our businesses alone. We can't parent alone. We're not meant to do this life alone. So find some people to help you hold yourself to a higher standard and also hold you accountable. So if you're kind of curious of how I am keeping track of like my 100-day journey, of course I am journaling through it. So every single day, usually at the end of the day, I am recapping the day. I'm recapping how I feel. I'm recapping any like aha moments I had or like any like God downloads. I have been sharing this journey on social media. So I am on day, let's say, as at the time of recording this video, I'm on day 16 of my journey. So I have been sharing little bits about what I'm learning and like what this challenge looks like as I'm like implementing it into my day. I've been sharing that on social media as a way of just holding myself accountable. And then I also told my friends too, like I told them, and I love my friends dearly because I know that they'll check in with me and I know that they're not going to judge me if I mess up, but they will encourage me to like, all right, girl, you said you were going to do this for this reason. Like, let's get back on it. So you need, again, that support system. Also too, I want to mention that it's really important to find a system that works for you. Like, Journaling works for me because I am a writer. I feel most connected with myself and with God through writing. I have amazing friends who I feel comfortable to share, some of my goals and things with, but you have to find the accountability that really works for you. So this isn't about adding any extra pressure. It's just about staying committed to what you want and your intentions. And here's the last thing I want you to remember as you are kind of going through your own glow up journey, and that is to make amends. So making amends could look like apologizing to others. Maybe you reacted poorly. Maybe you hurt someone's feelings that you really, care about. And making amends could also look like forgiving yourself. So sometimes the person that you need to make peace with is you. So what have you been carrying that you need to release? What do you need to own and just let go of? Stop holding it in. What do you need to own and also give yourself permission to let go of? So I'm learning that healing isn't just about self-care. It is also about closure. I am not proud of the way my mouth works. When I get really anxious, when I get overwhelmed, when I am triggered, I have a tendency of trying to make the other person feel the same way that I feel, but through my words. And I recognize on the end of that, when tensions have calmed down, when my nervous system has been regulated, that a lot of the things I said either didn't need to be said or could have been said in a better way. I don't need to try and make someone feel the way that I feel in order for me to get my point across. And I also had to really learn to forgive myself. And this is something that I'm still not 100% with. It's something that I am working on a daily basis. So forgiving myself for staying too long, forgiving myself for begging to be somewhere where I wasn't wanted, and releasing old versions of myself, especially the version of myself that I thought I wanted to be. That has been really hard, letting go of an identity that I worked so hard to build, and also making peace with decisions that I may have made in the past out of a place of fear and anxiety, because you can't fully step into who you're becoming if you're still dragging around who you used to be. Okay, so let's bring this all together. So your glow up isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming who you have always been underneath all the anxiety, all of the fear, and all of the people pleasing. And I want you to sit with that for a second. And as you're thinking about that, I want you to think about your glow up plan and ask yourself, what is one thing that you have been needing to work on, but you have probably been avoiding? Also ask yourself, who do you want to be by the end of this year? And also, who is it that you probably need to make amends with, including yourself? So maybe this is your time to create your own intentional plan, or to be in your own really intentional season. And it doesn't have to be 100-day challenge like what I am doing, but it could be 30 days. It could be 60 days. It could be 90 days. You could go for the full year if you want to. But I just want you to give yourself a container to grow in, because without some structure, we will go off the deep end. And please, 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 if you don't take anything else away from this episode, I want you to remember to just start messy. Start without having all of the answers. Start without having the perfect plan. Even start without it fully making sense. Just start. You are building yourself. You are building your business brick by brick, and it won't happen overnight. So if this episode really resonated with you, I would love to know more about what your glow up plan looks like. So drop a comment below if you are watching on YouTube, and just let me know, what is it that you're going to be working on this year? And if you want more of these real life conversations about doing life and business well, then be sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more episodes. All right, babe, I will see you next week. But until then, keep growing, keep healing, and remember that messy progress is still progress.